Good morning or afternoon, wherever we are right now. I don't even know. We're close.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
It's Monday.
It is. You're right, buddy. That's a step in the right direction.
It's almost Friday.
It is. It's not too far away. I feel okay about saying that.
How was your weekend?
Great. Not long enough,
Yes.
right? But
Did you do
still
anything for
great.
Easter?
What?
Did you do anything for Easter?
Just at our house. Just,
Oh, okay.
yeah, we're not hanging out with humans yet. I know some people are, but that's just not our thing right now.
It's okay. It's understandable.
We had a family Zoom call, which was super fun, where we all made decorated bunny cakes. So that was very fun.
Virtually?
What?
Virtually?
Yes,
Oh,
just
okay.
on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Just on
That's
Zoom.
okay. At least you
Yeah,
have a good
we meet with my parents every Wednesday and Sunday on Zoom. So.
Do they live in Arizona?
Yep, they do. So,
Oh, okay.
and we just we started it when the pandemic hit, and so we just have been doing it for a year now, and it's super fun. My
That's
parents
nice.
are kind of old. My mom's almost 81. My dad is 78.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that's nice. I'm glad you had a good weekend.
Yes, very fun. I hope everybody got to do something they wanted this weekend because I know we do plenty that we don't want to do, right?
Yes.
So we should all have a little bit of something fun. And sorry I didn't grade your, I don't even know what it is now. Yes, I do. Hold on, let me think. Your videos yet. Because, well, first of all, some of you have, you have until tonight to respond. But I had midterms still that I'm grading and a test that I'm grading in another class. So, but I will grade them. I look forward to watching your videos, your flip grids.
I have a question.
Yes.
I was looking at, give me 1 second because I forgot what the assignment was. The probability video assignment.
Yeah.
You know how the worksheet, it says it's double-sided. I don't know, maybe I'm just not smart, but how are we supposed to fold it? It's double-sided and it has 2 doors.
Oh yeah,
because
that's an
I was
annoying...
looking at this and then I look at the back of it and I fold it, but I'm like, I don't think that's right.
So yeah, normally it would be, let me see it. Hold it up. How did it print?
So like this is the back and then
this is it just didn't print perfect. So, but it's okay. So you could just use the one you have, just cut it out. Well, it might be kind of screwed up, but let me show you what it's supposed to look like. And I cannot align that one right for some reason online. So I haven't been able to do it, but, and you could just write it. You could just use the paper and write it. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. Let me see where it is. One moment.
Yeah,
Sorry
I tried
about that.
folding it and I was like,
you.
I don't know how to.
Yeah, I should have warned you that that one is a messed up one. I cleaned off my notebook shelf and now it's harder to get to. That was not very smart. One moment. Huh. It's not in that one. That must be an old notebook. I just had to change a bunch of assignments because we don't have Flash anymore. Okay, so this is what it looks like, or what it was supposed to print like, but it didn't. So that's what it should look like. And hold on. This is what it should look like. And then these doors open. So that's what it should look like. And I thought I had a picture of it in the slides. But so basically the front is, the top is independent. a single event and a compound event, and then the bottom is dependent, a single event and a compound event. But I hope you figure that out. Does that make sense? Does that help, Vanessa?
Yes. So
Okay,
since this one printed a little weird, I can just make it,
yeah,
like use it, just write it down instead of using it.
yeah,
Yeah, because I
yeah.
was looking at it, I was like, well, these, I'm pretty sure you cut these out, but yeah, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay, good. All right. So I hope everybody had a great weekend or a weekend, something. I hope you got to do something, right? We're gonna do, let me see what my warm up is first. Let's do our warm up first and see if you can do it. And then we'll do our Mindfulness Monday activity just because we're still missing a couple people. Okay, so try this warm up. There's two questions. The first one is, what's the probability of drawing a queen or a diamond? The second one is the probability of rolling 3 and then an odd number on 2 rolls of a regular 6-sided dice. So number 1 is just a single event happening, right? It's just an or probability. Number 2 is a multi-stage event. So try those 2. And think about how you would write your probability statement and show all your work, and then we'll call on volunteers. I'll give you a couple minutes to do that. When you're done, type to me in the chat something fun you did this weekend or something fun you wanted to do, but you didn't get to when you're finished with both of those. All right, well, I feel like a lot of people are done. I'm getting a lot of messages. Okay, the first, oh my gosh, you guys are so funny now that I'm getting them because that's awesome. Okay, so Bethel, report to us on the tuna risotto.
So it was kind of weird. I'm not used to like those kinds of dishes. So the tuna was very salty. So it kind of surprised me how salty the tuna was, but it kind of blended in with like the risotto because
Yeah.
I used it had like a lot of chicken broth and like creams. And so it kind of balanced it out. So it was actually pretty good.
Nice.
I liked it.
So the risotto, was it, because risotto can be a strange texture if you're not careful.
I think I made mine a little too like soggy
Yeah.
because it was kind of like it was kind of soupy a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird, but
Yeah.
the taste was good.
Yay, good. Well, that's awesome. Okay, and the new Godzilla movie, Karina, I need a report. How bad was it?
It was actually like pretty good. I thought it was gonna be bad, but if you like action movies, there's a ton of action. So yeah, I definitely liked it.
Nice. I love B movies, like really old, bad B movies. Yeah, they're my favorite. Does anybody have a TV antenna and so they watch like Comet TV? Have you ever heard of Comet TV? It's the best. It plays like Mystery Science Theater. I'm pretty sure Mystery Science Theater is like live in my house all the time. I watch B movies and like I am the Mystery Science Theater people. So yeah, super fun. I love how people spent time outside, spent time with their families, all of those things. So that's awesome. Good job. Okay, so who would like to explain number one? How they got number one on this one? And remember, if you're nervous about the midterm, this is a great thing to do to explain.
I can do it.
All right,
I'll put
I'm ready.
myself out there. All right, so what
Madison.
I did was I drew like the little rectangle and did a Venn diagram just to spread out, show how many queens and how many diamonds I could get. And on the left side I put queens, and then on the right side I put diamonds. And then I realized that you can get 4 queens and 13 diamonds, but you have to also consider that you can get both a queen and a queen of diamonds. So there's 1 in the middle. But then you have to subtract that from the diamond total, which then you'd be left with 12. And then 3 on the other side with queens. And then there's also I just like to put it on the outside because I always forget that number, but there's also 36 cards that are neither of those, but I just like to put it for my sake. And then for finding out the probability of drawing a queen or a diamond, you're doing the whole, you're shading in everything, like the inside and the outside. So you would add up the middle and get 16 out of 52. And then that would simplify down to, oh gosh, what did I get? 4/13. And that's my final answer that I got.
All right, does anyone agree with Madison?
I agree with her.
Nice. Now, who can write the probability notation for me? She has the math answer right here. Perfect. So what would you write for your probability notation?
It would be the probability of a queen union diamond.
Very nice. And then mathematically, we find that by doing, I'm going to erase this for a minute. We'll put it back there. So how do we find the probability of a union?
To find that, you would take the probability of finding the queen plus the probability of finding a diamond, and then you have to subtract the probability of, I forget the name of it, but it's queen upside down U diamond.
Very nice. And help her out with that notation. What is that called? P, queen, upside down U. So like that, diamond.
That's
Somebody
the
help Karina.
intersection.
There you go. Perfect. Thanks, Hannah. The intersection, just put it in the chat too. So very nice. So, and this is what Madison was doing. So Madison there said there's 4 queens in the deck out of 52, plus there's 13 diamonds out of 52. But then remember how she had that 1 in the overlap because she can't count them twice. So that's how she got 4 out of 13, which was, what was that? 16 out of 52 to start. Nice. So you should be able to do all of those pieces, write the probability notation, write the fractions, and be able to explain it. So you could use the Venn diagram to explain it like Madison showed. Excellent. Any questions on number 1? How about number 2? Who can explain number 2? Somebody who's just so excited for their midterm. Well, I'm gonna have to make a new wheel for you guys, right? Because we have some new people here. We'll just spin the wheel. Oh, I can pick you this way. I have you all numbered on my roster, 1 to 20.
I'll go.
So, oh, who said they'll go?
Betty.
Betty, you're so nice to people.
I
Okay,
try sometimes.
I'm ready, Betty.
So I will need help with how to write out the probability, how you did it with the queen and diamond, 'cause I wasn't sure how to do it. But my answer, I got, the way I explained it is to roll a dice. Well, to roll a 3, there's only 1 3, so I did 1 over 6 plus. Then I went to the other one. There's 3 odd numbers out of 6, so I did plus 3 out of 6, which gave me 4 out of 6, and I reduced it to 2 over 3.
She
That's
means simplified, by the way.
I
That's what she
simplified
meant.
it. Yes, I simplified it to 2 over 3. And
Nice.
then I was trying to use what the queens. I was trying to use the vocab from the top to kind of guide me to do it for the second one, but I kind of got stuck. So.
Okay. So first of all, do you guys agree with Betty's mathematics? I see some heads yes, some thumbs up, some heads no. Is this the same type of problem as number 1? Hannah's saying, I think we should multiply instead of add. Amanda's shaking her head yes. That she agrees with Hannah, we should multiply instead of add. Let's talk through this. So I agree that the probability of rolling a 3 is 1 out of 6. I also agree that the probability of an odd number is 3 out of 6. But I am a little concerned about this addition instead of multiplying. The reason we added here is because this was an or problem, right? Mm-hmm. So either one or the other was going to happen. On this second one, this is a multi-stage experiment, right? Mm-hmm. Where I'm going to roll the dice once and then I'm going to roll the dice again. So something's got to happen on the first dice or the first roll, and then something's got to happen on the second roll. Do you see how that's like pulling marbles out of a box? So you could use a tree diagram, or you could just go along a branch, which would mean, just like Amanda and Hannah said, we would multiply these. So let's take those numbers and multiply them. So if we multiply them, we would get 3 out of 36 or 1 out of 12. Does that sound more likely?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really easy to get tricked on these.
So
It's
for clarification, so when we're using or, it's more we're going to be doing adding, and then when we're using and, it would be we'll be multiplying
Yep.
because of the sequence of events.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, so now let's help her out with the probability notation. Does anyone have that?
I started off with P in the parentheses 3, and then I did the instead of the it would be a U, not a U, an upside down U.
I just put a comma because it's a
Okay.
multi-stage. So 3 and then an odd,
Oh, okay.
which we would do the probability of a 3 times the probability of an odd. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Good job thinking it through and putting yourself out there, because there's probably at least half the class that made that same mistake as you, by the way, because that's an extremely common mistake.
At least I wasn't the only one.
No, I'm positive you were not.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Okay, does that help you guys on those warm-up ones? See, Betty, I'm telling you, I saw some heads shaking. You can see it in the chat. More than just you made that same mistake. All right, so there you go. Yeah. Okay, so now, any questions about those two before we do our Mindfulness Monday activity? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. And I'm going to pull up our Mindfulness Monday activity. It's called color breathing, which I don't know if we ever did it before, but it's a good one. So I will share my screen. You can turn off your camera if you want. It's only 2 minutes long. Can you see a video on my screen, I hope?
Yeah, I could see it.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm going to talk you through colour breathing. Colour breathing is a useful exercise to help us relax, feel calmer, and it slows our heart rate down. This is particularly helpful if we feel worried, but you can use it at other times as well to relax. Give it a go and see if it's helpful for you. I'm going to start by asking you to choose a negative colour or a colour that you don't like. I usually use the colour red. Next, I want you to think about a positive, calming colour, a colour you do like. I like to use the colour blue, but it's entirely up to you what colours you want to use. In a moment, I'll be asking you to take a deep breath in through your nose. I want you to hold it for around 3 to 4 seconds and then breathe out slowly through your mouth. I want you to imagine that your negative colour is inside your body, in your tummy, your arms, running all the way down to your legs. Your negative colour is your worry or the thing that's bothering you. And when you breathe out of your mouth, you imagine the negative colour, the worry or the thing that's bothering you leaving your body. Let's give it a go. Sit back. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Now take a deep breath in through your nose. Imagine your calming colour filling your body. Now breathe out through your mouth slowly, imagining your negative colour, your worry, whatever's bothering you, leaving you. You can do this as many times as you need to. Keep practicing this regularly so you get the hang of doing this. And remember that you can use this anywhere. Thanks for listening, and please check out other videos from Healthy Minds Lincolnshire.
All right. What do you guys think of that one? Has anyone done color breathing before? It's a good, I love those, especially because I like the screen that was up with all the colors on it because it helps me focus on it. And I always think it's funny because she always says, think of a negative color and she picks red. And that's like my favorite. So it always makes me laugh a little that she says that. And then, so red's my good color. And my bad color, I don't know why this is true, but every single time when she says it's in your body, it's definitely like a hideous green or yellowy green, right? Because that needs to get out of my body. And the red is like like I always think of it's like blood in my body. I'm pretty sure I want it to stay there. So that's just me being a weirdo, overthinking everything as always. But I do think it's so nice because sometimes I forget like that there's certain colors. I start looking at the screen and I'm like, oh, I really like that purple. Like that purple's a good color. And that blue, I don't know what I would call it, but that's a good blue. So, and her voice is so calming. Some of these are really good. So if you are new to any kind of mindfulness activity, you know, we do a new one every Monday. Some of them you'll like, some of them you won't like. If you find one you like, there's apps that you can download. There's websites that you can use. These are just off YouTube that I'm getting them, but they do make their own apps too. And they're free and you can use them. And it's very helpful. I can imagine doing this in a store. Remember how I have a problem with waiting in line? Yeah. And if I think of color breathing, usually I can find something that's a good color somewhere in the store to make me not focus on the person in front of me, right? Or the cashier or whoever's irritating me at that moment. Yeah, so see, you can use it. And I love Target, and Target is red. So there you go. That's probably why I like red. Yeah, I used to go to Target so much. My husband asked why there was a $50 cover charge at Target. Yeah, it's true. He did. I still go to Target a lot, but maybe I spend a little less. And since the pandemic, I didn't go inside. Right? So it was better. I stopped my shopping a little bit. I used to go to Target so much. And one day I was in a red shirt and khaki pants, didn't notice. And a person who was shopping asked me where something was, like I was the Target worker. Here's the sad part. I knew exactly where it was. So I didn't even tell him I didn't work there. I was like, oh, that's over there in this aisle, like right, no problem. Yeah. So they probably really did think I worked there. Yeah, but I didn't. It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. It's all good. We all have our things. So I do like red. Okay, before I get too far along or distracted, which I know you know happens a lot, I wanted to go over any of those card probabilities that we didn't finish, right? Number 2 on that card worksheet. Right? So if you have that, we could take a look. Okay, I just pulled up what I thought was today's slides. And it was tomorrow's slides. Yeah, what slides do I have up? Oh yeah, this is the right one. I don't know why it says something weird. Okay, so compare card probability. So your card probability answers. Let's take a look. And I'm sure I have that still in week 1. Okay, so we're over here. Luckily, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 left. And my writing is all over the place, but I don't want to change it because you might need it. You might decide you like that, right? Okay, so part B, both cards are spades. So this is, I want you to think about as soon as you see that we're pulling 2 cards, are we going to multiply or are we going to add these?
Multiply, right?
Yep, we're going to multiply these. Excellent. So we're going to multiply these. So the probability of the first card's a spade and the second card's a spade. Now notice it says we're returning this.
I
Right?
can't see you sharing your screen if you're doing that.
Thank goodness you said that, because yes, I'm writing on it. And thank you, Karina. You're like, I already typed it in the chat. She just doesn't look at the chat right now. It's okay. I got it now. I'm on it. It is a Monday. Okay, so we are putting it back in the deck. It says with replacement right here. Okay, so the probability that our first card is a spade and our second card is a spade. So the probability of spade is going to be the probability of a spade times the probability of a spade, which, how many spades are in the deck? Did somebody say 13? I hope. Okay, good. So 13 out of 52 times 13 out of 52. Now, we could make that simpler, right? Because really there's 1 in 4 cards that is a spade. So we could just write, this was the other problem. So 1 out of 4 times 1 out of 4, you would get 1 out of 16. Am I confirming that for you guys? Are you good? 1 out of 16? Yay, excellent. Okay, now part C is a little bit weirder worded, right? Because it says neither card has a value of 2, 3, 4, or 5. So I want the probability that it's not 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then it's not 2, 3, 4, 5 again. Yeah. So every time I say not, what's the probability vocabulary word you're going to think of?
Complement.
Thank you. Complement. Yes, you're going to think of complement every time I say not something. So, and when we find the complement, we usually do 1 minus the probability that it is going to happen. So a 2, 3, 4, or 5. And then we're going to multiply those two together. So what is the probability that it is a 2, 3, 4, or 5? You might have to think about that for a minute. You might have to pull up a picture of a deck of cards, right? So how many 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s are in the deck? Four of each. Thanks, Michaela. You're right. So 4, 8, 12, 16. So 1 minus 16 over 52 times 1 minus 16 over 52. Okay, so 52 minus 16 is what? 36, right? So 36 out of 52. And the reason some of you are like, oh, my work, mine is way shorter than that. Well, you are going to be tested on this, and you are practicing to be a teacher. So you need to make sure that you can explain it all, right? And write it all out. You're like, oh, that's bad. All right, so if we divide the numerator and denominator by 4, I would get 9 over 13 times 9 over 13, which I would get 81 over 169. Yes? Everybody with me? 81 over 169. All right, these next two are tricky. So I'm going to pause for a minute, let everybody process that one. And then I want you to read through the part D and think about how you would do that one.
Hey, Roxanne, is there any way you can scoot your screen over just a little bit to see the end of the last problem? Thank you.
All right. So did you think about part D? Why do I think it might be a little bit tricky? See that word right there? At least one card is an ace. So what does at least mean? I'm picking 2 cards and it says at least one card is an ace. So what are my possible outcomes here?
You can get an ace or an ace, ace and not an ace, not an ace and an ace, and then not an ace, not an ace. So does that mean if it says at least one card, does that mean there has to be one ace in the problem? So that means there's only 3 out. I mean, you're only looking at 3 of the outcomes, right?
What do you guys think of what Madison just explained? So Madison said you could get 2 aces, you could get an ace and not an ace, and not an ace and an ace, or we could get not an ace and not an ace, right? Those are the only things that could happen. Do you agree when we're talking aces? Okay.
So then are those 4 different options? Is that our sample space?
Not our sample space, but these are our outcomes that match it, right? Our sample space would be all the cards in the deck, right? Because if I'm drawing cards out of a deck, my sample space is all the cards in the deck. Okay.
Right, but then that 4th option, that wouldn't be a possible outcome for this because it doesn't include at least one ace.
Right. Do you guys all agree that we're not going to use this last one because not an ace doesn't meet this criteria? Okay. Does this first one meet it? Does the probability of ace meet it? Yeah. A least is a minimum only requirement, right? A minimum only. So like it has to be. Okay. So like when you go to a bar and you have to be 21 to get in, right? That's the minimum. Are you only allowed in if you're 21? No, you can be older than 21. You just have to be 21, right? So that's a minimum requirement. Yeah? Okay, so these 3 things are what we're looking for. Now, these are separate outcomes. Yeah? So what do we do with separate outcomes? Think of your tree diagram that you would draw for this. If you wanted to, you don't have to. I love the eyes rolling, Madison. That was my favorite. You think I'm not looking, but it's true, I am. So what are we going to do with these? Are we going to add them? Are we going to multiply them? Tell me what's happening here.
Don't you have to multiply the to find the, because there's it's multi-stage, right? So there's more than one event happening. So you'd have to multiply to find the multiply the first probability by the second one, and then you have to multiply all those 3 together, don't you?
Let's think about this, okay? Let's draw a tree diagram over here. So we'll come back. So here's our first card, right? This is part D. So it could be, our first card could be an ace or not an ace. Do you agree? Okay. Then our second card could also be an ace or not an ace. All right. So we'll fill in all the probabilities in a minute, but do you agree? So our outcomes were just what, I don't know why I'm writing in yellow now, what Madison said, ace, 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 not an ace. I'm just going to write it like this. And then not an ace and an ace, and then not and not. So now I want you to think about your multiplying versus your adding and when we would do either. Okay, so think about that. Now I have your tree diagram all set up. Think about that while I let my cat out. All right, so what do you guys think? I see Alyssa put multiply. And Madison said multiply. Do we multiply everything? Yes, Alyssa says yes. I saw some head shaking, maybe not. Okay, well, I'll just call on random people to just fill in some blanks for us. How about that? So let's fill in some blanks here. So ace, what's the probability the first card is an ace? Somebody tell me what probability I would write on this line right here. 4 out of 52. Do we all agree with that? Yeah, and we could simplify that if we feel like. I usually don't until the very end, but I know some of you do. So that would simplify to 1 out of 13. So how about not an ace? What is that? Yeah, 48 out of 52. Or that would be 12 out of 13. Is that going to be the same on my second branch? Why? Tell me a vocabulary word why it would be the same on the second branch. Anyone? Go ahead, Hannah.
Is it because they're independent because they're being replaced? So is that the right word?
That's perfect. These are independent events, right? What happens on the first pick doesn't affect what happens on the second pick. Okay. Is my audio messing up for anybody else? I'm just checking. Okay. All right. So ace, we would multiply 4 out of 52 times 4 out of 52 because we multiply along a branch, right? Because it's multi-stage. We've talked about that. And this would be 4 out of 52 times 48 out of 52. 48 out of 52 times 4 out of 52. 48 out of 52. Times 48 out of 52. Now, before you multiply those, you might want to simplify so your life is a little bit easier, right? So this would be 1 out of 13 times 1 out of 13, which would make it 1 out of 169. This would be 1 out of 13 times 12 out of 13, which is 12 over 169. This would be 12 out of 13. Oops, that should be an equal sign. Times 1 out of 13, which would be 12 out of 169. And this would be 12 out of 13 times 12 out of 13 equals 144 out of 169. Everybody agree with that? Michaela, hopefully it's better now. And if it keeps doing it, just turn your camera off. That might help too, okay? All right, so now we said that this is one of the possibilities we want. This is one we want. This is one we want. It's just that last one we don't want, right? Because it said at least one ace. So we're going to say the probability of at least one ace. We could have the probability of ace, ace, we can have the probability of ace, not ace. And we can have, whoa, the probability of not ace and ace. So are we going to multiply these? Haha, Madison's right there. Madison's like, I had my answer already. So we do not multiply them. We would add them because this is what we did in the pom-pom activity. Since these are separate outcomes now, remember, all of these outcomes must sum to what number? 1. Very nice, McKenna. Those must sum to 1, and they do, which is a nice way to double check that you did it right, right? So, and so then we're going to add these together. Make it a little bit smaller so you can see the whole thing. So we're going to do 1 out of 169 plus 12 out of 169 plus 12 out of 169, which is 25 out of 169. So that's the probability of at least 1 ace. Better? All right. Did you have to do a tree diagram for this problem? No, you didn't have to. The only reason I did it was to kind of remind you, am I multiplying or am I adding? Since we had just done that with the pom-poms last week, I thought it might help you remember. So if you're questioning it, if you're like, I don't know if I would add or if I would multiply, sketch a little tree diagram and just to think it through. You don't have to do the whole tree diagram. It just might help you figure it out. Okay. Any questions on this one? Okay. Do you notice that part E is very similar? But instead of ace and not ace, it's saying the first card is an ace or the second card is black. Okay. So you might have more than one option again, right? Because an or, what does an or mean? Could it be both? Is one of the possible outcomes the first card is an ace and the second card is a black card? Yep, that's a possibility. Okay, so what I want you to do now is I'm going to put you in some rooms to try this last problem, okay? In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to also, call me in when you think you have the answer. I'm going to put in a website where you can practice tree diagrams. If I can remember where it is, because I thought it was an assignment for you, but now I'm remembering I did not make it an assignment for you. Yes, here it is. Okay. Okay, and I'm just going to put you on level 1 in there, and there are, let me see. There's a mortgage lender ad, just in case you're wondering. I know you needed that. There are a total of 5 questions, and you fill in each part. I'll share my screen so you can see it. Because this is, or I'll put the website in the chat first before I forget. There's the website. So this is after you do part E, and if you're waiting for me to come and check it. So let me show you what it looks like. It looks like this. So do you see it says tree diagram? Calculate the probability of independent and dependent combined events using tree diagrams. So in a box, there are 5 red balls, 6 yellow balls. On Monday, Autumn picked ball at random, blah, blah, blah. So don't try to answer these boxes on the left before you fill in your tree diagram on the right. Okay. And so you put a number in each box. When you're done, you click check and it'll check them. So if you want to check just part of the page, you could do that too. Okay. Everybody understand what I want you to do? Okay, so does everybody get the website? Okay, so I'm going to put you in your breakout room.
Hey, Roxanne, before we go to the rooms, can you show us what problem E looks like again?
What the question is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on one sec. And this is in my notebook too, if you like my OneNote, if you need it. Hold on, let me figure out. I'm trying to share not on my iPad and I'm losing my mind. So I got it now. It's the first card is an ace or the second card is black. The first card is an ace or the second card is black. Okay. All right. So go ahead and go to your breakout rooms. Make sure you have that website. Call me in when you want to check your answer to part E.
I have a question before I go to my room.
Yeah.
I was trying to access the OneNote or One Notebook earlier on Canvas, and it wasn't letting me access it. It's giving me like
that might be all connected to your Canvas password reset. So you might have to sign in again because that is a Maricopa product, you know?
Okay.
So what did it say? What was the error message you were getting?
It says OneNote.com server's IP address cannot be found. Because it did ask me for the password again earlier when I had to restart everything, and I did put the new password and then it worked. But when I'm trying to access it, it's not. It says the server IP address cannot be found.
Does it ask you, is there a way can you sign in or sign out? Because you might need to just refresh Canvas.
I did try refreshing it and it still didn't let me. Like do you mind if I share my screen real quick so I can
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Let me see.
Oh, I probably have to stop sharing. Hold on. There you go.
Oh, oops. I'll give me that. Like I can access everything else, but like I'll go to the classroom and I'll be okay. I've clicked on your other links and they work, and I go to the class notebook or the OneNote. Oh, I did not do that earlier.
Is it working now?
I think.
Isn't it weird? I don't know. Sometimes it's just weird.
Let me stop sharing. But yeah, I did not do that earlier.
Yeah, I know. I think it's weird just checking permissions.
Okay.
With their new updated security. I think that's what it's doing.
It's weird. All right then. Thank you. Okay. Oh, and then when I access it, it always pops up the Math 256. Oh, never mind. It just popped up the other one. Oh my gosh. I don't know what you did.
I didn't do anything. Literally, I did nothing.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Sunita, did you get a thing to join your breakout room?
It's okay, Lena. My phone died. That's why I had to get on the computer. So it had to be put back in here.
Oh, I think we can go back to our breakout rooms. I just looked up to like ask a question and like it was only me in the room.
No, I literally was in there and then my computer died on me. So I was on my phone and then my phone was dying. So I had to switch to my computer after it was charged. So technology is failing me today.
Okay, let's hop back into our breakout room before Roxanne notices.
Aren't we in it?
No, we're in the main room.
I don't know how to get back to
Okay,
the
there's a bunch of buttons on the bottom, and one of them is breakout room with the 3 little squares. If you click on that, it will just give you a button to rejoin room 1.
It says mine just has participants, chat, share screen, record, and reactions.
Okay.
So right now you and me, yeah, and the the iPad are together.
Let me jump back in.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know. Well, I left because I was like, well, I guess like you guys found the answers without me, but no, that's
No, I
not
didn't know McKenna wasn't in there with you.
No, she left before you did.
My phone died. That's why mine left. I didn't know she's just gonna ditch you like that. I got added back. So I think you and me are okay. Join breakout room.
Okay, you got it?
Did you get the invitation? Because I got one.
Yeah.
Hi, we're just waiting for everyone else. You're good. Hello, you're back. So I think I visited everyone. I'm only writing this simplified down here. I didn't show you my whole tree diagram or anything. But your answer should have been 7 out of 13. Okay, and I think most groups got that or were real close. Now, of course, my grandiose expectations never happen. It's 119, and I have all this stuff, but that's okay. We'll see how far we get. We'll do our coin flip activity at the start of class tomorrow, and then we will do rock, paper, scissors. And so that's what our plan will be in class. I am going to have you do your exit ticket, which is fine. It's not terrible. Oh, whatever I just did, don't ever do that. Did you see me just delete that whole page? Yeah, that was terrifying. Thank goodness there's an undo button. Did you like that? So we'll go through this. If you were doing that tree diagram, only one person sent me the possible extra credit for the other day. So I don't think you were real into that, right, is my guess. So if you want, I can make this extra credit, that website that you just saw, right, that Transom website you were just on. And if you just send me a screenshot of it all correct, I'll give you extra credit, okay? So
By
send me a
today?
screen. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then it's not necessary, you don't have to do it. But if you look at our assignments, I tried to separate them this time. I thought this might be helpful for you to see what's due on Wednesday, Friday, and then Monday. Does this look better for you? A little more helpful maybe? Okay, good. So then you can focus on what you really have to do today. So speaking of that, we have an exit ticket. Hopefully you guys do better on this exit ticket than my other classes did on their exit ticket, because literally out of like 25 people, 2 got it right. So depressing. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So maybe it was my poor teaching today. I don't know, but it was just a rough day. So try this. Just think it through. You can take your time. If you need to go, as long as you get the link, you'll be fine. Okay? And I will see you tomorrow. Great job. I'll hang out here if you guys have questions.